So today we're going to talk about Thanksgiving side dishes. So Sam and I are going to make 2 different side dishes, a dessert. And so, Thanksgiving, there's a lot of staple foods. There's foods that people are very familiar with. It's very much, synonymous with Thanksgiving. So some of those are, apple pie, sweet potatoes, and marshmallow. I know sometimes that kind of goes together. I don't know how that came to be, but definitely something that's very much seen on Thanksgiving. Mashed potatoes and things of that sort. So today we're going to make a little bit of healthier options. I am making a healthier version of sweet potato. It's a side dish. It uses some maple syrup, very little bit, which is fine. It's okay to use things a little bit like butter. Maybe instead of using all butter, use half butter and half olive oil, so a healthier oil we're using. We're using some maple syrup instead of those marshmallows, which is definitely going to be a lower sugar version, slightly healthier. So for my recipe, I'm just going to do some really, really delicious sweet potatoes. These are so easy to do, a really great side. I actually love the sweet potatoes that they got at the farmer's market because it just shows you that not everything is always going to be perfect. Not every sweet potato is going to always look the same. These are definitely big. These are a little bit more round than a traditional sweet potato. That's great. So I'm just going to show you what we're going to do. So the first one I have, it's sliced in half. And after we slice it in half, I'm actually going to show you what we're gonna do to help them cook through a little bit faster without just the tops burning. It's a little bit of a trick of mine, it's a hack, and also to help all of the flavors seep into the sweet potato. We have our sweet potatoes, they're in half, so look, this one's a little bit longer, so more of that traditional sweet potato shape, and these are more circular, so a little bit different. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do something called scoring the flesh of the sweet potato. So I'm gonna do that like crisscross, those crisscross marks. Sometimes people do it in fish or in poultry. And this is really just a great way to help things cook more evenly and not just have like the tops cook or the tops burn. And this really helps the sweet potato cook really, really nicely and evenly. You can definitely skip this step. I like it because I find here you're not even gonna really notice so much, but when it starts to cook, those flavors will really seep into the sweet potato and really you'll get a really, really nice flavor. You can also score the outside or hassle back the outside, as we like to call it. So you don't even really have to score it, just do some lines in there if you want. Again, this will help the sweet potato cook through really, really nicely. So I'm gonna just do that really quickly so we can get them all in there, and then I'm gonna show you what I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the scoring. I'm not gonna do the outside on all of them just so that we can do this more quickly. Again, this is a really good hack, and by the way, this is a good hack for a lot of vegetables. I do this with zucchini and I do this with eggplant. It's a really good hack to help all of the flavors get in there really nicely and for things to cook more evenly and without just the tops cooking and things getting burnt. So it's a good hack like that. I'm going to finish with this one and I'll finish the other ones later, but I'll show you what I'm gonna do. So we scored the flesh of all these sweet potatoes. This one I'll just score the outside too, just to show you that one more time. So you can either hassle back it, which is just making the lines across, or you can score it, which is making that crisscross shape. The next thing we're gonna do, so we have them, put them all in a bowl. Before the olive oil, we're gonna take a little bit of maple syrup. So here I have some maple syrup. You don't need a lot, but it just helps candy those sweet potatoes a little bit. And everyone likes like a nice little candied shaped sweet potato. A little bit of, I would say, not even a tablespoon of maple syrup in there, probably a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half. Then we have some pepper and some salt, thank you. And some salt, a little bit of salt. Ooh. And then we're gonna just add some olive oil, and you can use avocado oil as well. Any sort of healthy oil is perfect. Gonna get some olive oil, and then you wanna take your hand, so I'm wearing gloves, and you wanna make sure it gets all in there, and you're gonna rub it. And again, once it starts cooking, all of these ingredients will kind of seep into the skin and as well as the flesh of the sweet potato, and it'll really, really get full of flavor. The next little hack that I'm gonna show you is how we're gonna get that candied sweet potato and like a little bit of crisp on top, is you're gonna cook them flesh side down. So we want the skin side to be up. We're gonna put them just like that, and then they're gonna go into an oven at I like to do it, depending on your oven, between 400 and 425. In my oven, I do 425. Definitely check to make sure that the bottoms aren't getting too crisp. But that's again why we're scoring it. If you don't score it, I would probably do more like 400 and keep it in the oven a little bit longer. But you can do 425 for between 35 to 40 minutes. And they really come out so delicious, sweet, and this is such an easy, healthy side dish for Thanksgiving. And I'll show you what the end looks like. End is this. I put some chives on top of there just because chives, I think, add such a delicious flavor. Also, it looks really nice with the orange sweet potato. You see there's like a little bit of that brown candied on top, candiedness on top, for lack of a better word. And that comes from the maple syrup and also from cooking the sweet potatoes skin side up, or rather flesh side down. So they're so delicious and healthy and a really, really great alternative to other sweet potato recipes for Thanksgiving.
All right, so now we're gonna go on to mine. I actually chose to make a cauliflower mash. Not complete cauliflower mash, I'm gonna do half and half. It's always good. Anyone who doesn't like cauliflower mash, they don't know what they're missing if they haven't tried it. It's delicious. Bought these from the farmer's market yesterday. I have a half a cauliflower here and red potatoes. With the red potatoes, what I did, I'm gonna peel like half of them so we get some of the skin on it. What's that good for?
The skin is good for fiber. Fiber has been great. So anytime we're making mashed potatoes or doing anything with potato while Sam's kind of peeling those off this, we want to try to leave a little bit of skin on it. Because the skin is really where we're getting that good stuff. We're getting the fiber, we're getting some other healthy vitamins and minerals. So, you know, we don't have to keep all of it on because that's may not be as delicious, but keeping some of it gives it a nice texture, but we're also getting some good vitamins and minerals, including fiber.
Okay. So I've got 3 here, so I think this will be good enough for now. I'm just going to give you a little what I'm doing. I'm going to chop up the potatoes, probably do 3 or 4 potatoes, and then you can do like a half a head of cauliflower. We're going to put them in half, and we're going to try and make the cauliflower florets the same size as the potatoes, and then we're going to put them to a boil. Just cut these up for you.
Tell you it smells delicious in here, so you will want to try all of these recipes.
All right, let's put these in the pot. Right, and then we're going to break this up. We're going to boil these. It takes, you know, I'm going to make these florets a little bit bigger, and then I'm just going to break them to about, you know, around the same size as the cauliflower.
Favorite dish is stuffing. Stuffing is
mine too.
Definitely
I love stuffing. If you use sausage in stuffing, use turkey sausage. It's actually really good. That's another alternative, a healthy alternative right there. Right, I've done this. I'm going to put this to boil in a little bit. All right, I'm going to fill it up with water. It's boiled. Wait till it's tender. Once it's tender, I'm going to mash it with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of butter. As Ariel mentioned, it's all in moderation during Thanksgiving. You can use a little bit. So just like maybe a teaspoon of butter, then a little bit of olive oil. All right, so that's your cauliflower and your potatoes ready to be boiled. I'll show you the end result. This is the cauliflower. And I just sprinkled some fresh herbs, some chives in there.
I love the skin in there.
Yeah, you've got a little bit of skin in there.
It gives it a nice texture.
And it's not over the top. You know, like with too much. All right, so that's that. Then I'm going to go on to a baked apple. With the baked apple, instead of apple pie, we're going to do a little baked apple. All right, so right here, I have some golden raisins, some pecans, a pinch of brown sugar, and a little bit of butter. Right, we've opened up our apple. Right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff this inside the apple. So I'm going to push this in here. All the way down, right? Get us down as far as you can, push it all down. Then you're going to put it in a little baking dish with a little bit of water and a bit of tin foil on top. It takes like roughly 15-20 minutes. Just poke the apple and make sure that it's tender and you'll be good to go, all right? With that, all right? And I put cinnamon. There's lots of cinnamon on there, so yummy. With that, this is your apples. You can put a little bit of Greek yogurt instead of cream. A little bit of vanilla. Okay, so there's your baked apples. This doesn't necessarily have to be done like this. You can actually bake the apples by slicing them with a little bit of water or juice, with apple and, you know, just a top and put in the oven covered. All right, so that's a different way. If you haven't got an oven to bake the apples, you can definitely do like a stove top as an alternative.
For sure.
The temperature for the apples, I did them on 350. We actually cooked the sweet potatoes and the apples at the same time.
I also love this because, again, going back to having the skin on, we have the skin on the apple, which is really where that fiber is. The flesh of an apple actually has like very little nutrients in there, so keeping that skin on is great. And for an apple pie, we're usually taking it out. So even in making an applesauce, if we want to do, try to keep the skin on.
And just for the heck of it, I did a salad today. Just because I figured, you know what, salads are good in Thanksgiving. All right, so this is a salad. It's a Thanksgiving salad, and often Ariel talks about farro.
Farro, yes.
Farro. So I made a farro salad, and there's like fresh apples in there, a little bit of parmesan cheese, radishes. Some of these ingredients was bought yesterday at the farmer's market, and was like, what the heck, let's do it. So we have a nice salad. And you made the salad dressing?
Yes, so the dressing is some olive oil, there's some mustard in there, some balsamic vinegar, and a little bit of honey. And it goes together really, really nicely with all the ingredients of the salad.
Okay, and the water of the week is rosemary and lemon.